it strikes me, Kathleen, that you're good at being aware at these different levels. So we have our personal pain, right? Like I know from past, you know, interviews, you've had some serious stuff in your life, some really deeply hurtful stuff. That's there. And then there's our resourcefulness as well, right? Like I've worked with people that have been through all kinds of abuse like you wouldn't imagine. And it's like you might imagine, but most people couldn't. And then there's real pain there. And yet they're also able to tune into their personal resourcefulness and then what I might call universal resourcefulness. Mm-hmm. And simultaneously, there's the way in which we're different. You know, you're a black woman, I'm a white guy. We're different. We have different life experiences. There's different backgrounds. There's different groups of people. Our ancestors are different groups of people behind us. And that's important, that difference. And then there's another way in which we're connected and not different. And if we forget about one of these pieces, there's a problem. Because if we forget about the universal, it just becomes tribal. But if we forget about the fact that we do have these different genders and ethnicities, then something is lost, right? Like something is lost.
You know, I'm so glad that you're bringing this up. For me, if I'm yes, you're white, I'm black, and you've got blood, and you breathe. You're a human being. At the end of the day, we are more alike than some would have us know. If I constantly divide myself up, this is me, into I'm this, I'm that, this is me, for me, it creates divisiveness. I don't give a good hootenanny who you sleep with. I don't care what name is in the label of your shirt. I don't care what you eat. I don't care. You are a human spirit. You are a breathing human spirit. And for me, I feel when we can truly get to that place, that's where equanimity is. That's where that's where the killings, that's where, you know, even, oh my gosh, his name just, there's so many. I mean, I could pluck so many names of black men that have been killed, when that will stop. However, in the meantime, as I stand in the solidness of me and do the work from the resilience within me and the people behind me, that's how I create change. That's how people around me remember that they too are whole and love-filled.
I hear that there's a way in which you've been through crap, and I know you have, and you make this stand of I'm whole, and I'm not a victim, and I have more in common than every other human being on the planet than I have differences, and there are differences, and that's unusual in this day and age, Kathleen. But a lot of people aren't saying it like you're saying it.
No, they're not. And what I also want to say very quickly is that within each one of us, every individual knows that place of peace that I spoke about during the breath work is in every individual. That's the place we choose to tap into when we make our choices. Choose to tap into so that we don't pick up a gun, so that we don't kill another human being. That place is within all of us. And the breath reminds us. I come back to the breath because that's what I know, personally and professionally. It gives us that place from which to make that choice that is connected to the higher consciousness, I'm going to say. You know, there'll be someone who doesn't relate to higher consciousness, substitute whatever. But that is within us, and everyone gets to remember it in order for justice to prevail.
It seems like something of that beautiful universal spirit has been lost in this conversation lately. And I don't know if it's because of COVID or because of politics or the divisiveness or the fucking president you guys have. I don't know. But something is...
Wait, don't loop me in that you guys have. Look, I live here. I live in the United States. I did not vote for that individual.
Sure, but you're living in a different reality. I think I would be more... I would have a different attitude around some of the issues were I living in the United States right now, as opposed to the UK. Now, I'm not saying the UK is you know, our prime minister's pretty crazy too, but it's a different reality, right?
It
Like,
it
this person
is.
doesn't speak for me. That's what I hear you saying, right?
No, no. And I know that the way that I move in the world, the way you move in the world, we're creating ripple effects which will create the change we want to see, which will empower, enliven people to remember the truth of who they are, to create the equanimity and the justice for all, truly. That's the way I have to move, Mark, because if not, I wouldn't leave my house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And, you know, the conference and myself personally appreciate the advice you've been giving us, and you've been, you know, you're an advisor to us now as a paid advisor to the diversity team we have. And, you know, I take on board what you say. I listen to your wisdom. I genuinely do. And it's interesting because of how you approach us as much as anything. You know, there's a heart there, and it makes me go, let me listen. What's your point of view here, Kathleen? You know, like, I'm all ears.
And not everybody is going to hear, but at the same time, everybody is fertile soil. I may not be there to see the seed germinate, but everyone is fertile soil. My mother is 96. She marched with Martin Luther King, and I speak with her. I'm like, Mommy, you know, what do you have to say for today? And one of the things that my mother says always is, God is with you. And if God doesn't work for you, substitute whatever does. Spirit is with you. There has to be, I feel, where we tap into that resilience that is within each one of us, that perfection, I put the word perfection in quotes, within each one of us, that encourages us, that gives us the strength to dig deep. And my mom says to me, she's like, you know, we've been here many times before. This isn't the first time, speaking about the protests and the killing of blacks. This isn't the first time. I said, so do you see any distinction? And she says, you know, I see what you do, Kathleen, creating a change. And this is, you know, she's my mother, but this was a conversation that we were having because my mother has sat in and has watched many of the breathwork sessions that I have. She says, I truly do see where you inspire people to really remember and to empower themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just my mama speaking, okay? This is a woman who is of the world and who has done many things, right? Many things. So she really is aware. And she says how we must speak our truth. And that truly is the breath. The breath gives us the courage, first of all, to find your voice.
Mm-hmm.
Then speak it, because you've got to find it to speak it courageously. And I still sort of struggle and stutter with, how do I get this out in a way that people will understand? I can't take on, say that I'm going to heal the world, but I know that what I do will heal ripple by ripple, person by person.
Wonderful. Well, certainly healing definitely seems to be a part of this, doesn't it? Empowerment's another part, healing's another part of it, and that's definitely our business as embodiment teachers.
And to stand courageously in your truth, to be able to speak it. I'm going to share with you that when I was with your breathwork conference, I said things that heretofore I hadn't.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that is coming forward for me with this pandemic and the protests, it's my voice.
You're finding another
Yes,
level.
I am speaking up in ways I never have before, ever. And that's my God's honest truth. From my soul, from the depth of my soul, and also saying no, which is such a powerful sentence, right? Whereas before, yeah, okay. Mm-mm. No, no.
Mm-hmm.
Really finding my voice professionally
Uh-huh.
and personally.
What are you saying no to? Like, I'm curious about that, Kathleen. Like, what's the pressure there? What's the stand you're taking there?
Let me just be very clear, because, you know, I'm always very transparent with you. There was someone who came up to me who wanted to partner because Black is a thing.
Okay, like they're like you're trending right now. You're fashionable right now. Something like that.
And it just didn't feel good in my spirit. No.
No.
Yeah.
That's a new position. It's a new position as well, right? This idea of like, I don't know how to put this in a way that's not going to get me in trouble.
Let me say it.
Yeah.
Let me say it.
That's probably safe, Kathleen.
Let me say, you came to me.
Yep.
It was a hell yeah. It was a hell yeah.
There's a fit there.
And the fit was, you, Mark, and we've known each other for a month. You are willing, and not that I took this, it just all happened simultaneously, right? What I have learned of you within this month is you are willing to look at the dark spots within you, and we all have them, myself included, and take action right away. You are willing, what I have witnessed with my eyes in this month, you are willing to turn yourself inside out for the betterment of the greater good. You are willing to look at yourself and say, that's a little effed up here. I need to change this, and take action.
Yeah, we've done some hard looking, and it's definitely some investigating what we're doing, and some asking around, and knowing what advice to take, and who's got our interests at heart and who hasn't, and who's just attacking us for opportunity and social point scoring, and who's really trying to do something good in the world. And we're making some hard calls around that, you know. And having Manal on the leadership team now from Saudi Arabia, that gives a whole other perspective. Having you helping Cheryl gives another perspective. And
but you're willing to start with yourself, because you're the leader. It's going to trickle down, so it's going to show up in everybody else. You're willing to look at yourself. And so for this other organization, it's a flash in the pan, where
right.
your organization is about making global changes. Now, is everybody going to be happy? Hell no. Are there going to be people that have something to say? Hell yeah. But and I speak for this for myself, because even with me, am I going to be for everybody? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll be able to have an energetic flow with those where there's an energetic flow, but it won't be everybody. I'm okay with that, because I know that what I'm doing we all hopefully have the same goal: to shift the world.
Kathleen, you made me cry, man. I'm really getting emotional. I don't get emotional very often on these calls, but it's something about being seen. Like, I really feel seen by you. And it's like, you've always got a stage if you want one at the Embodiment Conference. And, you know, we don't fucking do tokenism. We only put people on to speak who are good. You know, like, I don't say to Steve, hey, Steve, have you got 2 black women to speak? I'm like, have you got good speakers? That's what I say to Steve. Good people who know their work. And it's a pleasure when someone like you steps up, and you know how to challenge me, and you know how to be a gift. And I'm emotional. I'm really emotional now. I can't ask a good question anymore.
I will share with you. Yes, blacks. We blacks. I'm a black woman. Yes, many times I've been the only one. Never saw it and saw it. Yet never saw it, but yet saw it. However, I'm not the flavor of the day, right? If all lives matter, as a friend of mine did a poster, if all lives matter, and they do, then Black lives matter. Equanimity for everyone. Breathe, and we will remember.
Kathleen, I think we're going to have to stop there. I'm really like choked up. I love how you speak. I love your heart. I love that you include all these different elements, and you know, your work's great. As I said, I've tuned into you a few times, and I'm sure you'll be back representing us at the conference, and you know, we'll be in staff meetings together as well. So yeah, anything you want to close with? Obviously, people should go to your website. You've got corporate work, individual work. You've got stress sessions there. You can work. What that's Kathleen Booker, like book as in magazine, like BOOKER.
Kathleen with a K. Yes.
Yeah.
Kathleen with a K. And reach out. Just reach out. I'm open to conversations. I offer a free 30-minute your time chat. Just reach out at kathleenbooker.net, and we'll schedule it, and let me learn all about you, and share with you the power of the breath. This is how world peace begins. I love you, Mark.
I actually love you. You're like my cool New York auntie, and when I'm in New York, I'm totally taking you for lunch. I'm totally taking you for lunch in New York. So this has been beautiful. It's time to say goodbye, though, Kathleen. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.